Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to June 15th. Time for a daily situation brief. No current or expired alerts, National Tourism Advisory System. Snapshot around the region. No update since the 11th from the number of detainees in the Rio Grande Valley sector. There are two declarations still, 4222 in Oklahoma, 4223 down in Texas. Updated numbers for the IA and PA PDAs ongoing. Just note that Louisiana has now 2 IA PDAs been requested. And no FMAGs. Taking a look around the region. Arkansas remains at level 4. Still have 1 shelter with 2 persons in it. Louisiana is at a level 3, the crisis action team. Currently no shelters. New Mexico is also at a level 4 normal operations. Oklahoma is at level 3, no shelters. And this morning, as of 7 a.m., Texas activated to a level 3. And currently they have 4 shelters open with 53 occupants. Here in the region, this morning we have activated to an enhanced watch with a hurricane program manager on staff. And we have liaison officers on standby for Arkansas and Louisiana. IMATs deployed to Texas and Oklahoma. But now we'll turn it over to Kurt so we get the latest and greatest on the weather situation and the flooding.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. And what we're looking at today, right now we've got some flash flood watches out for parts of South and Southeast Texas. And of course we have the ongoing river flooding products that are for each drainage or each basin from the Trinity down to the Brazos and into the Nueces of South Texas as those are starting to drain out. We have one point in Texas that is still in major flood. That's Liberty, and it's expected to stay that way for the next several weeks. And we also have over in Louisiana major flood gauges reading at major flood stage along the Red River down through northwest Louisiana. Had a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity today across this overnight over northern Texas into Oklahoma, and we're going to probably see some more activity up there later today before the onset of some of our tropical impacts. So if you want to go ahead and move to the next slide, we can start talking about what's on the matrix. We do have a heavy rain and flash flooding threat today across northern Oklahoma, and then again along the Texas coast and to southwest Louisiana as we start to see the effects of the tropical moisture being pumped up into the Texas coast. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it really turns into a tropical event as the system out in the Gulf of Mexico is supposed to come on shore and track up through east or east central Texas with a rain shield expanding over East Texas, western Louisiana, into southeast and eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas, and eventually northern Arkansas by the end of the week. So again, we're also carrying the tropical impacts possibility along the middle and upper Texas coast late tonight, highlighting Tuesday as being the most likely day to see any kind of effects, and then the effects should be waning along the coast on Wednesday. And as always, we're still carrying the moderate to major flooding on the rivers across the region. Again, the Red River in Louisiana and then the Trinity River in East Texas, as some of those points are still in major flood stage, and they're very, very slow to recede. And that's going to shape our weather picture as we move on to the next slide. We'll talk about what's going on right now in the Atlantic. There is an area of disturbed weather out in the Gulf of Mexico. Has a very high chance of developing into a system in the next 48 hours, and certainly in the next 5 days. The red hatched area down to the lower right part of the screen is the area where impacts are most likely to be expected in the next 5 days. Hurricane hunters are out there right now making their passes through different parts of the disturbed area, trying to get readings on any kind of low-level circulation and any strengthening. The bottom line is the Hurricane Center expects the upper levels to become more favorable for development in the next 48 hours as things move closer to the coast, and that's very much in line with the development of these systems at this time of year, that they oftentimes will gather some strength right prior to landfall along the Texas coast. So we'll have to watch it through the next 24 to 48 hours very closely. What we're expecting is not really so much a big rain or storms, not so much a wind or a storm surge impact right now, but really it looks like the rain is going to be the primary threat, and it's going to be from the coast all the way inland up to northern Oklahoma and northern Arkansas, as we showed in the threat matrix. If we can move to the next slide, it shows our areas there. Today, heavy rainfall possible across parts of northern and central Oklahoma, and then another area later on today along the coast of Texas. For Tuesday to Thursday, we are increasing the threat and definitely increasing the coverage of area for heavy rain. Definitely flash flooding possible and a resurgence of main stem river flooding, possibly moderate to major flooding again over those areas that saw the rainfall in May. And then for Thursday through Friday, you can see that the area of rainfall starts to move up through East Texas into Oklahoma and northern Arkansas, and then out of the region by the weekend. Next slide. Just wanted to show you the 24-hour precipitation forecast, and this sort of paints the picture that we'll start to begin seeing precipitation along the coast later today into early Tuesday, with that bullseye moving up toward the Houston, Trinity Bay area. And then the 5-day precipitation you can see basically along the track of the tropical system, anywhere between 7 to 9 inches bullseye of rainfall across East Texas into northern Oklahoma. Now, those are 5-kilometer by 5-kilometer aerial averages, so any place in there has the potential to see maybe double that, so it could be anywhere between 12 to possibly 18 inches in some locations. And to put that in perspective, that's getting the amount of rainfall over parts of Texas that we saw in May. Some places saw 18 to 20 inches. We're talking about potentially seeing that amount in 5 days. So it's definitely going to have an impact on the river basins, flash flooding, and probably a resurgence of moderate to major flooding on some of these areas as this takes place. We can go to the next slide. I'll show you the basins that we are particularly concerned about: the Red River in Louisiana, the Trinity over East Texas, and not so much the Nueces in South Texas, although they do have the potential to pick up some heavy rainfall, but it really looks like the Trinity, the Neches, the Sabine, and the Red River in East Texas probably have more of a potential right now for seeing really heavy rainfall over the next 5 days, as this system is expected to track up through Texas into East Texas. And we go to the next slide is the drought monitor, and really not much to say about this. As we get more rain, the drought's pretty much going to stay where it's at. We might see a little bit of improvement in those areas, but it's real spotty, so it's not of any impact. And I believe our next slide is the space weather slide. Fairly quiet. We're downtrending from the solar disk. Just a little bit of activity expected today over the eastern seaboard. Maybe a little bit of radio blackout interference, but things start to really settle down as we go into Wednesday as far as the solar disk is concerned. And as that stands right now, I'll just conclude the briefing. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone has any questions from the National Weather Service? Type in the chat window or speak up if you're on the phone. No questions, huh? All right. Well, we'll keep on trucking. And then list of the meetings for this week. Today's is highlighted in bold. All right, again, time for questions. Type in the chat window or speak up if you're on the phone. Did you know that on average, a single hurricane stirs up millions of miles of air and dumps more than 2.4 trillion gallons of rain per day? Alright, last chance for any questions. Type in the chat window or speak up if you're on the phone. Hearing none, this concludes today's